guys. Today we'll talk about the serious and deadly consequences of engaging in adultery and sexual immorality, and how we would love to warn you to come out of this immoral and adulterous world of Babylon, which is about to be destroyed by God. So, God created marriage with sex as one of the greatest divine blessings that He can bestow on men. Yet, because of ingratitude, selfish carnal desires, and ignorance about the great mystery of marriage, men now turned marriage blessings into curses, destroying himself, the earth, and the universe. And this article is written by Lope Columna, the Messianic Kabbalist pastor. His articles are really helpful for you to purify yourself before the coming of Christ. So why are sexual immoralities and perversion so rampant everywhere? Well, it is because of the ignorance of the true knowledge of God and His mystery of marriage covenant. So, because of our foolish understanding of sex and marriage, and also because of our callous hearts, God delivered us over to the cravings of our hearts to sexual impurity. So this is really incredibly serious, because sexual impurity has no end. The more you entertain evil in your hearts, sexual impurity, the more debased your mind will become. Your thinking, your imaginations will become so impure, and you will not be able to function as God has already designed you to function. So, I think that sexual purity is honestly one of the most important, if not the most important aspect of a human being, is that our root, it needs to, our understanding of sex and our view of sex has to be so pure that it has to be the root. So in Romans, we can see that the people, although they knew God, they did not glorify Him as God or show gratitude. Instead, their thinking became nonsense and their senseless minds were darkened. So they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal men, birds, four-footed animals, and reptiles. So therefore God delivered them over in the cravings of their hearts to sexual impurity, so that their bodies were degraded among themselves. So the very important truths and knowledge about sex and marriage are lost by mankind, and this kind of knowledge became a secret mystery hidden for thousands of years, only now to be revealed for your benefit and also for the benefit of mankind. So the sex education of the world lacks God's true knowledge and divinity, teaching and endorsing immorality, quote unquote, safe sex. So we must understand that sex is holy, and surely the so-called sex education being taught to schools today is devoid of God's holiness and truth about sex. Therefore, men's sex education contributes even more to the spread of immorality, sexual diseases, and other curses. And they even justify their own sexual immorality by calling it safe sex, even encouraging people to engage in it by using condoms. Now, there is no such thing as safe sex. As in, there is no such thing as safe sin. Is there a safe death? For if you commit sin, you will die in your sins. So the whole world is being deceived by Satan, and all of the worldly teachings and religions today are being deceived, and we should become aware and be taught by someone like Lope Columna to teach us the true knowledge of sex and education, true knowledge of God and His marriage, so that we can all become pure and holy and blameless in His sight. So the resulting global ignorance about sex and marriage led to the many perverted and abominable ideas and acts about sex and marriage. Thus, for thousands of years, the perverted pleasure of sex victimized the powerless carnal people to engage in and enjoy the wrong use of sex and wrong kinds of marriages. For example, sexual harassment, prostitution, rapes, bestiality, homosexuality, same-sex marriages, adultery, wife swapping, sex orgies, and such. So therefore, God allowed their sexual lusts and impure passions to degrade and destroy their bodies. So, even the churches and their leaders are the culprits. They are also enslaved to sexual immoralities. And because of the ignorance of or rejection of the power of God's Messianic Kabbalah wisdom of truth, the churches with their pastors changed God's truth into lies, introducing wrong worship and church services. The churches became powerless, and their leaders also succumbed to sexual temptations and sins. They now approved and even officiate in the same-sex marriages. No wonder the world is under curse of all kinds of evil, woes, and tragedies. So this is very serious, because it is really up to us to restore this kind of teaching and admonish one another to not engage in any of this, because a little leaven, a little yeast works itself into the whole dough. So something like this, even a slight sexual impurity, can affect others and other human beings. So we gotta be aware and be mindful of how we act, how we think, how we speak, how we act. All these three things need to be godly and holy and pure. So the eyes are the portals of the spirit and passion of adultery and other sexual lusts. So we need to guard our eyes and not look at porn, basically, because we look at those things and we introduce all those immoral, sexual, impure, and immoral ideas and behaviors into our imaginations and thoughts, thus committing adultery. Yeah. So, um, you know, they, it it's so it's yeah. So, what I want to say, I don't want to go too into porn right now because I don't want to think about it. I'm also a victim. I engaged in and enjoyed pornographic materials, and um, so I don't want to be a hypocrite and and say that, oh, you guys are all bad, because I myself have committed all these things too. So, but I wanna um, tell people to come out of this corrupt and immoral Babylonian world and this wicked and adulterous generation, and to and purify yourself for the coming marriage of the Lamb. So, I hope this article kind of helped you to be more mindful of what you watch and engage in, and to um, learn more about the marriage and family and God's holy, godly family and marriage um, concepts, to purify yourself and have a more enjoyable life, and not become such a simple and shallow fool who only wants to engage in carnal lusts and desires and selfish desires that lead to destruction and curses, instead of kind of dig deep and know God face to face, and know what your true purpose is, and be saved, and yeah, just be blessed and saved. I hope this blessed you in any way and helped you learn more about the marriage and family universe. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day. Bye.